I'm really looking into what the Orioles can do to try and extend Gunnar Henderson early. And I get really nervous, to be completely honest with you, when I'm looking at one of his best comps, and that's Carlos Correa. And Carlos is also a Boras guy who actually never signed another deal with the Houston Astros. He hit free agency. And what makes me worried a little bit is I've compared the first 3 seasons of both of their careers, and Correa was a better player, had a better WAR, played more games, he had more hits. Gunnar has 3 more home runs. Correa's got 50-plus RBIs more, 20-point higher batting average, 20-point higher OBP, and then Gunnar's got, just 3 points higher on the slugging. And then, Correa with an OPS also 16 points higher. We know Correa had some injury issues and whatnot. It just makes me nervous because we already know Boras does not do pre-arbitration extensions. I think the last one was like 2019. Out of all of his clients, we haven't seen one in 6 years anyway. So, when you really start to kind of like compare the comps with Correa, who they allowed to just walk in free agency, I get nervous. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. Correa had the issue with the Giants where they pulled the contract. He still signed that 3-year deal with the Twins, and then they turned around and gave him a 6-year deal after they realized that he was healthy. To sit here and say that the Orioles can get an extension done with Gunnar Henderson, considering these two have the same agents, Gunnar to this point is not better than Correa at that point in his stage of his career. I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be either ugly or extremely creative when it comes to trying to extend Gunnar Henderson. I think Gunnar wants to be here. I don't know Correa's situation. I'm not a Houston fan. I never paid attention to that one. Gunnar has made it a point that he likes Baltimore. They're going to have to get creative. You are going to have to wow Scott Boras because he doesn't do pre-arbitration. And let me break down why he doesn't do this, right? When you get arbitration, it's based on your performance. So you get a raise every year anyway and whatnot. Gunnar is only making $780,000 or something like that. I have to go back and check SportTrack. He got a $1.3 million bonus last year from MLB's new top 50 player bonus pool or something like that. They give out $50 million to the top guys. So he got a $1.3 million bonus last year, but he's still making just $700,000 in pre-arbitration. When he hits arbitration, likely his contract will be around that $5, maybe to $8 million range in year 1, right? You buy that out early, you're probably not going to get that $8 million up front. The next year, right, if he continues to have very solid seasons, you're going to look at between probably 10, maybe 12. And then the third and final year, guys like Vlad Guerrero are just made $28 million in arbitration, which is kind of unheard of, but a guy like Gunnar Henderson could become that good where he makes 20 plus. If he would sign a pre-arbitration extension, he's not getting that 20 plus prior to the end of those 6 years. Everything would be backloaded. Boras looks at that as a way that he loses money, which is why he doesn't do that for his employees. So the Orioles either have to extremely backload that contract to where it's like, hey, this is how we feel about you, and we're going to show you. Here's a $45 million at the end of that contract. Or they're going to have to be extremely creative at how they think that he's going to project over the next 4 seasons. You have 1 more year of pre-arbitration, which is this season here, and then you have 3 years of arbitration. So you're going to look at 26, 27, 28. How do you project Gunnar Henderson to finish each of those 3 seasons and pay him accordingly? Because he's going to make a lot of money in arbitration. Do you just upfront say, here's $20 million over the next 3 years, 20 per season, so you get $60 million? That might get it done, might not. It all depends on how Boras also looks at those projections and thinks how good Gunnar is going to be. Again, this is not going to be easy. Scott is very smart. He knows how good some of his players are. He takes risk, hence why some leave, some don't get the contracts they want, and then some get massively overpaid too. Scott's good at what he does. And I'm not going to, I guess we could say that the Orioles are kind of new to this. It's going to be interesting. I don't rule it out. I just look at the comps to Correa, and Correa did walk. It makes me just a little nervous unless they just want to get extremely creative in those 3-year arbitrations and they buy it out. And they're going to have to buy it out high. What do you guys think?